So this is going to be our subject piece today, and it's going to make quite a nice little platter, so to put cake or biscuits on or something. Nice easy little job. If you want to start out wood turning, it's probably the best type of item to start wood turning. So to make my life easy, what I'm going to do is this is a pretty standard small bench lathe, and it's probably the type of lathe that I would suggest you start with. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this faceplate securely onto this piece of wood, and screwing it on here won't matter because this is going to be the inside of the bowl, so it's going to be machined out, so the screw holes will disappear. But what I'm going to do to cut down a lot of machining time is just cut the corners off with a saw. You know, I'm going to use my bandsaw, but you can use a hand saw. Anything will sort of do. Just to, you know, it's going to save you 20 minutes, maybe more. Sort of getting rid of the corners, make it a bit rounder. Okay, so the corners have been taken off, and you've noticed I've drawn a cross from either side and just lined the drive plate or the faceplate up with that and screwed it on. Just, you know, fairly roughly within a sort of a millimetre of roundness or squareness. Now what you do is just spin it onto there. That's all you need to do. You don't have to tighten it up any further than that. That's fine, because when this is rotating and you're starting to machine this down with the chisels, it's naturally tightening itself up tighter onto the spindle here, or the headstock. Could call it a drive shaft too, but this is normally called the headstock, and this other end here is the tailstock. We won't be using that today, so we're going to take that off for safety reasons. See, it's a spike with a bearing. If I had a fair sized lump of wood in here, you know, I would be using this to push into this end to support this end. So we won't need that today. Like I say, this is going to be a fairly simple job, and it's a good starter. And if you've got a nice piece of wood like this, you know, you're going to be pretty pleased with the result. So I'm going to be using quite a standard set of chisels, quite an inexpensive set. You know, they don't have to be professional chisels, but quite nice ones. They're okay. Normally, wherever you buy your lathe from, they should be able to supply chisels as well, and the accompanying safety gear. When I say safety gear, you should wear protective glasses, and to back them up, a face shield. Okay? Very important to have a face shield. So we're going to start turning this, but I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks that I've picked up over the years. Okay. Now, tips and tricks. There are many. And over the years, I have noticed quite a lot of people have said to me that they're recovering, or they're invalid from coming out of the armed forces, or they're in a wheelchair. It really doesn't matter. I'm sat down. I'm sat down on a high chair. I see no reason why you can't operate, well, any machine really, from a sitting down position. But you would probably need to take advice from a professional, as in a doctor, your doctor, before you go operating machinery. Best to get the okay. Now what I found over the years, now this is the tool rest. You see that there? Right, okay. Now I do notice a lot of, quite a few people that I've seen wood turning on the internet, and they struggle a little because they get their tools on here and it's a bit jerky for them. Alright, so what I do is, now this is it can be cast steel or cast iron. It's just this is your rest, okay, and it's shaped like that, so you run your hand in the back here. Alright, so when you cut out of the chisel. Now what I do is I get some sandpaper, because this is normally quite coarse or even painted. As you start to use it, you chip the paint and it causes the chisel to be held up on where that chip was. This needs to be as smooth as you can get it. And you know, this is what, 240 grit, and I clean it up every so often. I've cleaned the paint off and clean the metal up, clean all the machining marks out of the metal. You can do that with a fine file, and then finish it off with this. This needs to be as smooth as you can, within reason, get it, because the back of the chisels need to slide on there like on ice. Okay, so that's one good tip, and it'll pay off dividends, when you're machining the wood, because your chisel doesn't get held up. And another thing is, don't be in a hurry to take too much off at any one time. A little bit at a time, and take your time with it, because if you push the tool in too hard or try to take too much material off, one, you're going to get what they call a catch, which is where the chisel digs into the material, and depending how you have it in your lathe, it could spit out. It happens to us all. I mean, I make videos making bowls and what have you, and a number of times, I've had a catch or something, and a piece of material's come out at me. Hence face shield. So one little job now we have to do, because this is a large diameter, and the motor driving it, I mean, it's a fairly powerful little motor. It's what's that, 550, it's 3/4 horse, yeah, which is 550 watts, but it's still, for this diameter, still not enough torque there, not enough grunt. So I know that this is set for nearly 3,500 RPM, because the smaller diameter, when you're doing something like a pen, you need the high speed, okay? Because you need the material to move past the chisel at a fair old rate. And of course, as you go in towards the middle of the material's moving past the cutter a lot slower than what it is out here. Hence, smaller diameter, higher speed. Okay, So I'm going to go around the other side now, and we'll change the speed on this to a low speed, somewhere in the region of oh, let me see, probably about 1000 RPM max. Okay, so just in this particular case with this lathe, you just slacken that off, slacken this off. Oop, a bit tight. Put that up there. Okay, yeah, we're on the high speed. See, high, medium and low speed there. So right on the other side here, there's a lever where I can just slacken the motor off. And let me get to the end of the motor. Okay, I'm doing this. Pull the. There we go. Okay. Just tighten it up. You don't have to do this too tight. Okay, just firm, because if you do get a catch, you want the belt to slip slightly rather than stall the motor. That's another little tip. So you should just be able to flex the drive belt like that, which is pretty good, pretty alright, which is perfect. Okay, so now what we need to do is make this a little bit more rounder than what it is. So what we need to do is just bring the tool rest in so it's, you know, about 1/4 inch, 5mm away from the material, and the tool rest itself needs to be slightly down from the center of the material. Okay, so the center of the material is like here. Now ideally you want the cutting edge, this cutting edge here, to be on center of the material. So that means you want to be slightly below center because the cutting edge is offset. Okay, because the tool rest to be resting on the back edge here, so the cutting edge is raised up slightly. So that's why you have it slightly below center. So this is a small spindle gouge. I'll just get a larger one. Now this is a medium spindle gouge, and of course there's a bowl gouge as well, which is very much bigger. So we're going to start now just facing this off and making this rounder, and then the next job we're going to face the back edge off here. Alright, because this is the back of the bowl, you'll start with the back of the bowl first. Let's say bowl, it is platter. Okay, here we go. And that's about 650 RPM, which is probably got a little faster. That's just about 750 there. Let's get my face shield. Put my face shield on. And don't have anything loose clothing around your arms here. Okay, no loose clothing, because it can get caught up in here and drag you into the material. So you can just see a bit of a blur down through here. Okay, so feed in very gently. Little bit at a time, don't be in a hurry. I'm just going to do my top button of my shirt up, and it's going straight down my neck. There's another tip for you. Didn't know that tight enough, did I? There we go. Okay, now there's about half an inch here now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move in a bit closer, like that, because you don't want your tool overhanging the end of the tool rest too much, okay? Because you want the actual energy from, you know, this biting into the material and moving down that way, you want to transfer it into the tool rest and not into you and do this business. Okay? Oh, it's coming down quite nicely. Oh, it's going to be beautiful, I think. Here we go. I'm not too far to go now. Actually, I'm going to change my tool now. This is a half-inch gouge. It's not a scraper. That's a scraper. Okay. See the difference? So this is still a sort of a flat type gouge. So I want to take off a. Shall we say, I don't want to leave any tool marks in there because I'm sort of nearly round there. Oh, look at that. That's that black that'll run all the way through it. Beautiful. So I want a broader tool now to start cutting into this. Beautiful. Look at that. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and preserve this as much as I can. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sloping, like a triangular type platter then. To try and keep as much of this in other words, take out from there to there to keep this and show it off a bit rather than just, you know, sort of leave it sort of slightly rounded here. I'm going to angle this right through there and show it off. Okay, so to do that, we need to move our tool rest. And put it at the angle that we want, or we'd like the bowl to be. But I keep saying bowl because I'm not sure whether it's going to be a bowl or a platter yet. And we'll go to our intermediate spindle gouge. And move the tool rest in a bit now. You see how easy it is to move the chisel now on this. It slides like on ice, so it doesn't hold you up. That is beautiful. Look at that. So now my next job is to face this off nice and flat, and I'm going to make a tenon in here. I use this particular tool for doing this job quite a lot. I'm going to plunge into here. This is a parting off tool, and machine a nice gouge in there so it gives my chuck something to hang on to. And notice I put a slight angle on that. I'll show you why. Okay, so there's the teeth of the chuck. If you notice the shape of them, if I can get that camera in focus, see the shape of them, they're angled. Well, this is going to grip onto that. Alright, so the angle is going to coincide with this, and it's going to pull it in tighter as well. I've just got to make sure that it's going to fit. And if you ever wondered how you hold the back of a bowl, that's how you do it. So I'm going to get some sandpaper now. I'm going to finish, or nearly finish, pretty well finish the back, because I don't want to come back to this, and I'll even put some finish on it when I've sanded it all up. So let's completely finish the back. Okay, look at that. I've gone all the way up to, let me see, what is this? 240. 240 grit, that's fine. Now I'm going to apply some finish to this, some very special finish. Now this is in two parts, and this is an Australian made product. Okay, and you go to their website, it's U-Butte, and I use this for everything, and it's friction polishes, and it's put on in two different applications. This is the wax, this is ultra sheen wax, and then the glow as a top coat. So that's what we're going to do next now. Just apply the wax. A bit more on the rag. We got sufficient onto the material. Now you apply a bit of friction. So you want to get some warmth into it. Cotton rag is the best, I've found anyway. A lot of people use paper. Okay, that's one coat. That's the wax. Beautiful. Look at that. Just pour some on a rag. A bit of friction. It'll come up like glass. This is one of the wood turning secrets, I think. This is how you get a high class finish on your wood pieces, and that's friction polish, a two-pack then, as it were. Perfect result, look at that. Glistens, doesn't it, with all the different sort of colours. Beautiful. A bit stained through there, as in the wood, but it's gorgeous. That's what I wanted to keep. I wanted to show that off. That's why I did a long sloping side like that. Isn't that lovely? Feels like silk. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it around and put this in the chuck, and we'll scallop the inside out. Okay, so now we come to, I think, everybody's favourite, and that's scalloping the inside out. So you'll notice that I've set the tool rest. It's still a little bit high, I think. I'm going to be using several different tools here. Okay. That's good. We'll probably use this one for the whole process, and then the round nose scraper, which is, where is he? There he is. Round nose scraper to finish him off. So here we go. I'm very pleased so far. But having got this far, halfway through, still, you know, sort of, while we're machining this, got to be very careful, because one little catch and it can rip it out from the chuck, and, you know, well, start again with a fresh piece of wood, and that will happen to you. This is my favourite method, actually. I sort of start a cut here and roll the chisel over and then push them in. Being very careful. We should be able to get the same angle as the outside. Speed him up a little. Okay, so it's at this point now the overhang is getting a little bit too much. So we need to now alter the tool rest and place it inside. Like so. Maybe a little bit further. There we go. Make sure the tool rest isn't fouling the material. We can start again. Normally tell by eye how thin you're getting. I like to have a little feel just to make sure. Okay, changing tools now to my scraper, round nose scraper. I'm actually holding this at an awkward angle so you can see. Makes it a little bit more awkward for me, but it's okay. That is quite nice. I'm not going to do any more machining to that now because it's getting a bit thin there. I like that. I wanted a contrasting dish as opposed to the square edge. So now, down to the finishing. So there you have a beautiful blackwood bowl, and you can see why they call it blackwood. It's this is an Australian wood, and that is an absolute beautiful little bowl, platter, bowl, whatever you want to call it. Gorgeous. And I'll say again, you know, you can, anything that I do in my workshop here regarding CNC routing, the laser work, the CNC milling, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a returning veteran or vet from the armed forces and may have a disability. Doesn't matter, you can still do it. You can still operate a lathe, you can operate CNC machines and lasers. However, you know, I do advise you to seek medical advice first, as I'm not a medical expert, you understand. Anyway, so thank you for joining me, and I hope this has been of interest to you and a help, and I will do many more videos on wood turning, from the small benchtop lathe up to the larger, more professional lathe. Now, a lot of people ask me where to buy these. I know Grizzly sell them, both types of lathes, and Harbour Freight, and in Australia Hare and Forbes and Carveco. They're the two main ones, I think, over here. England, I'm not so sure about. It used to be, I think, Halfords, but I'm sure you guys can source a lathe